for this. Are we at this stage yet when, and the stats speak for themselves, a further 14,500 cases of coronavirus confirmed across the whole of the UK yesterday. That figure, remember, as we talk about fans on a reduced basis going back into stadia around the country, that figure has trebled in a fortnight.
But Jim,
Go on, Simon.
Jim, you have to get context on this, because this test and tracing regime that was brought in was brought in to be able to unlock society. Back in April, when testing started to really happen, on April the 19th, for a day in case in point, 5,850 people in this country tested positive for COVID-19. There were 50,000 tests done. We roll forward to October. We're getting circa 300,000 tests a day coming through, but we're not getting 30 or 40,000 positives.
Sure.
We're not comparing and contrasting accurately. The problem we've got in this country is we've got a leader that was elected to run this country and to set up a test and tracing regime and to overcome a society who's like a Walmart act. He's like, you're booking tickets to go and see Billy Connolly and you're getting the Cranky's mum turn up as the Prime Minister. You know, you're making Theresa May look like Farrah Fawcett Majors by comparison. We've got test and tracing being run by Dido Harding, who ran TalkSport, which is one of the worst telcos in this country, with a group of people that built the software, with the National Health powered by Steam. All of these things bring out a backdrop that creates a culture of fear.
Right.
If you look down the dynamic, Jim, if you've got 250,000 tests a day being done in this country, and you're getting 15,000 positives, and you did 50,000 tests back in April and you got 5,000 positives, then in real terms, in percentage terms, we are getting better. So why is test and tracing the very mechanism that we were told was going to take us out of lockdowns, seemingly the very thing that's going to take us back into lockdowns, and stopping football clubs from putting fans back in stadiums? I
get what you're saying, Simon. It's all relative. But here's the thing. We need to speak to somebody who's been involved in a test event, whereby fans have been back inside stadia, and the very gentleman to do that is with us now. He's the chief executive of Brighton, and he's Paul Barber. Paul, good morning.
Morning, Jim.
Paul, thanks so much for joining us. You can hear Mr. Jordan. Trevor is with me here in the studio in the news building. Paul, you ran that test event. It was Brighton against Chelsea. How many fans did you have in that day?
We had 2,500 fans in on that day.
Okay, how did it work? Can you say it was successful?
We can, on two different levels. First of all, from an operational point of view, it was very successful. All of the measures that we put in place, from health screening before fans bought the tickets, to the digital ticketing process. We didn't actually issue paper tickets at all. Everything was by phone, or if people needed a paper ticket, they had to download it at home and print it at home, right the way through to the spacing, the distancing when people were queuing to get in, masks moving around the stadium, distancing once they were in the stadium, and moving around in the stadium. People were very, very compliant with all the measures. That was the operational tick, if you like. And then probably the most important tick was there was no rise in cases in Brighton and Hove or across Sussex as a result of the game at all. And we had that confirmed by the head of the A&E at the Royal Sussex Hospital, who also happens to be our stadium doctor. So on both levels, from an operational point of view and also from a medical point of view, the event was a success.
So did you push that good news that came out of that event, did you push that in the direction of the government, Paul?
They were here. They were our guests on the day. So, we actually had them here. They were actually seeing everything that we were doing. We walked them around the stadium. We showed them how compliant people were. I think the thing that's really galling at the moment, Jim, is the inconsistency. 56% of people can attend an event at Royal Albert Hall in terms of overall capacity. People can go to the Royal Opera House. People can go to the O2. All of these are indoor arenas. All of them rely to lesser or larger degrees on public transport. We've got people watching live football in cinemas, and yet we can't have fans back in the stadium, even with all the measures that we put in place at great cost, having proved the event is a success. It really doesn't make any sense. And the inconsistency is the thing that's really, really hurting us at the moment.
So you would say, Paul, from your experience on that day, and the government, as you say, were there at the Amex and they saw it for themselves, it's time. Start this. Do it now. In October. Before we're out of October, you would say do it.
So we've got to be mindful of the health of people. Obviously, that's paramount. We're not going to do anything reckless or silly. We're going to put people's health first. That's absolutely vital. But we've also got a responsibility to protect jobs. And football clubs up and down the country at the moment are really suffering. Their staff are worried, they're concerned about their futures, they're concerned about their ability to pay their own bills. And we've got to get fans back in the stadium so that football clubs up and down the country, particularly at the lower levels, can survive this crisis. Obviously in the Premier League we're fortunate, we've got the TV income, but still gate receipts are important to us as well. It's our product, it's what we do, it's our business. We want to try and get it back on track. We're not looking directly for government handouts, we're looking to put our own business back on track so that we can pay our own bills and pay our own way. And that goes right the way through football, not just from the Premier League, but all the way down through the pyramid. Now, we've got a ridiculous situation at the moment where the top 6 levels of the game can't have fans, even though they're prepared to put in mitigation and to put in place all of the things to keep people safe. But below that, where it's much harder for those clubs to pay their way, they can have fans.
Yes.
And they can't afford the mitigation. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's absolute nonsense.
Paul, before you go, did you get an indication from the government, as presumably there were a number of officials there, right, at Amex that day, did you get a solid indication from them that suggested to you they were thinking, yeah, this can work, this can work?
Absolutely. And I think, the one thing I would say, and I think this is a really, really important point, Jim, is that football fans can and should be trusted to do the right thing. Most football fans, the vast majority of football fans, are decent, honest, law-abiding people who will do whatever's required in order to get back to doing what they love most, which is coming to watch football at the weekend, at the end of a long working week, when they've got enough pressures in their lives. They will do whatever is asked of them. And what was proved at the pilot event that we held was that people would absolutely comply with whatever we reasonably asked them to do in order to come back and share with family and friends the opportunity to watch a game of football live. They don't want to be cooped up in their living rooms or a bar or a cinema watching live sport. They want to be in the stadium where the live sport's taking place. And we can do that safely. We want to do that safely. And it's really important for the economic health of our industry that we can do that soon.
Paul, thank you so much. Chief Executive of Brighton and Hove Albion, Paul Barber, with us live this morning.